From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's Afternoons LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update in 2021. In today's recording, breaking news as Bernie Sanders' office contacts this channel and says now less than 1 million of you have reached out and they have never seen advocacy in the history of congressional life. I'll go over what this means for the recon, which has now been passed in that House Budget Subcommittee. Cluster number 1's checks passed and come into you when they call this for a final vote. Hazard pay and also $4,000 for elder care. Cluster number 2's checks passed, home repairs and paid leave. Then cluster number 3's checks passed, including seniors and free internet. No items will be reduced, and no items are coming out, but they are changes on the back end, and those are duration and taxes. I'll explain all the incredible details. Meantime, those IRS monthly stimulus checks, the legislators still say they're putting them in there. We'll go over all the incredible news as more viewers get confirmation from guess who else, no less than Biden's number one guy in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, telling no less than 2 viewers this channel in the last few days that they're going in there. We'll be going over to the third stimulus because it's money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. And we'll go over one viewer who got nearly $6,000 into next year because of this channel in the last few days. I'm going to go over the big money you can get for rent, utilities, food, internet, how you can get upwards of $100,000 today, this week, right now, from third stimulus. No waiting around, and this is big money, including the nonprofits that are doing massive payouts across the board. Money is money, and financial independence starts right here, right now. We have incredible great news, breaking news, also from a few legislators, and across the board, it's a big day with so much happening, including the new comments from Maxine Waters about your rent. We get all to this starting right now. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day across the board. We got a full slate of programming today. And boy, what a day it is as the debt ceiling limit deal hatched late last night. The Senate passing the debt ceiling limit extension, but this brings us to December. And guess what? There's a vote set for your recon. Oh, boy. This is their latest representation. Their representation, not mine. I'm going to go surfing. In this recording, we go over all the incredible details. Wendy Wen will be happy because now we got a Wen. There she is. How are you? How's Wensville? I haven't seen her in a while. But in this recording, we'll go over the incredible details about that recon. About Bernie, about you, about the stimulus checks, about all the incredible monies that you can get right now because we get money on the come. This is about financial independence. You want some money for this weekend? Well, there's money right now. Why would you wait for Wendy Wen to get you the money? There's money available right now. We're going to go over all this incredible sums of money as one viewer got $6,000 this week because of something I said last week. That's what you should be doing, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And we got a great recording with a lot of new news and dates and everything else. And this is Afternoons LALATE. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers to YouTube will recognize what you're part of this incredible family with the most in-depth, the most accurate, and the most broad coverage of financial and legislative efforts about the money. I want you to be part of this incredible channel. It was no less than 2 weeks ago when a House Sub-Budget Committee passed your fourth $3.5 trillion recon. That happened on a Saturday night, and no broadcast channel covered it, no print media covered it, and no YouTube channel even knows it happened. Over the last few days, I've been going over all the incredible checks that are in there, how they modify the back end, and all the details across the board. We have legislative staffs that know about this channel, know about you. This is a channel like no other, and this is why you want to be part of this incredible community. So subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. Let's go right to that exciting details. I'm not going to wait a minute. I'm going to go right into the breaking news, which is insane. Bernie Sanders' office, I told you a week ago, was now relying on this channel to help use your advocacy, this channel, its recordings about the details of this recon to help get it over the finish line. Well, we have a new update today about this as well. You're not going to hear this anywhere else because it's only you, me, this channel, and Sanders' office. Here we go. Sanders and Representative Sheila Jackson has said they have gone through yesterday. They have received nearly 1 million contacts from the people of LALATE and the Purple Power. The advocacy is making waves. This is the first time many elected officials and their staff have truly heard from the people. And now they have not only heavy heart, but have a renewed sense of urgency to get help out to so many to help the good work. Our advocacy has been so strong, so heartfelt, and so polite, and never just for ourselves, but also for the communities. This is a message from Bernie Sanders' major lead aide in D.C. This is not a staffer. This is not a secretary. This is not, someone making the $12 ice cream. This is a top aide to a viewer of this channel that I'm a little overwhelmed and emotional in reading that because it is big. It is very big. This is saying that your advocacy has really been felt, not only in Senator Sanders' offices, but all the other offices, and you need to keep on pushing. Let's go over all the incredible details of a $3.5 trillion recon passed no less than 2 weeks ago. It was passed on a House floor in the middle of a Saturday night. That House Budget Committee passage is huge because it includes all the incredible clusters of checks that are going to give you big money, big relief, big programs in this recon. Let's go over all these clusters of checks, starting with the first one, passed, and boy, is it deliciousness. Cluster number one has the hazard pay and has the $4,000 of elder care. Let's go over all the details of that. The hazard pay is taking the earned income tax credit, an old tax code, broadening the eligibility, expanding the bigger payment across the board so that more people would qualify for it, and also that there would be a bigger annual payment. Up to $4,000 a year to care for the elderly. Wow. Up to $4,000 a year to care for young children. $51,000 a monthly stimulus checks, taking the CTC, the child tax credit, and making it a lifetime. And broadening the eligibility. How much would it pay? Up to $300 a month, every year, up to 18 years per child. If that household remains a low-income household, that's $51,000 a child. And then they got money in there to home repairs. Yeah, if you live in a low-income household or community, they'll give you money to repair the home, free money. Then the money for college students, grants, Pell's grant made tax-free, and grants to university. And then they got in there money for bikes, cars, and trucks, all electric, all yes, U.S. auto manufactured. First, 15% for the purchase of a new electric bike, then $7,500 for a new electric vehicle, personal use, and then money for an electric truck or a vehicle for business use, a little bit more for that as well. Well, there you go. Exciting, great news. Overnight, we had a statement that came out from Maxine Waters. As you know, she's from Los Angeles here, and she said that the forced stimulus recon has apparently $300 billion in it for rent and utilities, but she is battling to keep it in there. That is why the big cash infusion that went out for third stimulus, which you can get third and fourth, by the way, for rent, is huge because Treasury is happy to provide state and local governments these additional resources for rent, $13 billion of them. And this is a big deal. And let's look and see what one viewer did. And this is big. This viewer in the last came in with this message yesterday, and she heard my recordings last week, and this is what she said. I want to thank you, LA. Without you, I would have never known about this. When you mentioned the extra $13 billion that was going out to every state, I immediately pounced, and I emailed the city of Austin, which once again informed them of what was going on and what you had said, and I wanted more assistance. Yesterday, they sent me out the application. I applied, and now I got approved November to January for rent, $6,000 for 8 months. I mean, that is just huge. I'm going to show you how you get these big sums of money, because that is what we're doing right now. If you haven't gotten every single last penny from this channel, if you have not gotten any money from this channel this week, Today is the day to change. I want you to go every week with this channel for getting additional sums of money. Yesterday, Margaret, who's gotten a lot of money from this channel, she got an extra $500 this week from this channel from one of the utility companies. So we're going to go over that as well. Let's cut to those second cluster checks pass, and these are huge. Again, these are checks that have passed part of that $3.5 trillion recon on that House floor. The second cluster checks are home repairs and paid leave. Wow. Let's go over how these work, and these are incredible. Paid family and medical leave. This would pay up to $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. Don't worry if you don't make that amount of money. Split in half. $35,000 a year, $800 a week. $15,000 a year, $400 a week. Family leave, you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Medical leave, you have to stay home because your son broke his leg. Remember, itemization, remember here, everything in Fourth Stimulus Recon is for everyone. Americans, SSI, SSDI, not COVID related. Let's go over the other items in there. Childcare programs, household tax credits, and then weatherizing your home. Definitely need to weatherize your home, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. What I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House. And whenever possible, keep them out of the Senate. There we go. We got other checks in there like free pre-kindergarten and tuition-free community college. Definitely need to take that class called What the World's LA Saying? 101. It's called LA 101. For people who say I just talk really funny, you can now take the advanced class as well. It's called Los Angeles. It's so you can be fluid. And that strange dialect they speak out near the sea lions. It's just Los Angeles 202. There you go. That is the second cluster of checks. But what is Congress doing? Well, guess what? It's back to a familiar message. Congress is working on your recon this weekend. They're in those subcommittees, and they're working on it next week. But you know what I always do? I always tell you something ahead of time, and I'm going to tell you something ahead of time. Congress is out of session. But that doesn't mean they're gone to the equator or to Antarctica or, well, I think you wish Mitch went there, but they are not in session starting next week. That does not mean they're not working on your recon, because remember, they do the recon in subcommittees, and that is what passed that $3.5 trillion in a subcommittee no less than 2 weeks ago on a Saturday night. I'm going to explain what they're modifying on the recon in just a second, but let's go to the third cluster checks that got in there, and they are incredible. Checks for seniors, checks for free internet. Wow. So these are huge. This third cluster includes the checks the president wants in here, alike free school meals for all checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, immigration reform checks, checks for elections, checks for free internet, checks for seniors, checks for workers, checks for dental, vision, hearing, and checks for lowering Medicare eligibility. Two of the checks in this third cluster the president likes because they're instant savings to you, and they are cheaper prescription medication and also cheaper and free internet. How does this work? Let's say you go to a pharmacist today. Say, Mr. Pharmacist, I have a really bad headache. Do you have anything for that? Oh, you've been watching Kristen Sinema talk. No. Do you have a solution for that? Yeah, cephalocymus. No, I mean for the prescription. Yeah, it's $40. You take two $20 bills out of your wallet. Then when you go to refill the prescription, after this becomes law, you may only have to pay half the amount of money, keeping a $20 bill in your wallet. They're going to get free internet. They're going to get free internet across the globe. Yes, well, across the country. Red, blue, rich, and poor states are going to be offered big money from the federal government to launch their own internet company. So all you have to do is say, I live here. Oh, really? What is the username and password? The username is Mansion Munchies. Mansion Munchkies. And the password is Mitch Lobster. There we go. Coming up later in this video, we'll go over all the incredible details as I explain to you how they modify a recon without modifying your money. We'll go over what the dramatics of that means and how keeping everything in place and not removing anything nor reducing anything is what the progressives are vowing to do. We'll go over what Maxine Waters' statements were last night in view of that reassurance. Then we'll go to the changing of the back end, taxes and duration. Certainly a big topic that was discussed in a new article released today. Very, very fascinating. fascinating. And then we'll be going over more to third stimulus and how to get these big sums of money like Prina did with her incredible message. We're going to show you how to get not 5, 10, but $100,000. We're going to show you how you should be getting these big sums of money across the board. Viewers are getting massive sums of money on this channel on a regular basis, and I want that to be you. Viewers are getting $100,000 from rent, utilities, food. They're getting an average of $40,000. They're getting massive payouts for utilities and SNAP. I want to get you that type of money. And I want you to get that money by this weekend. So get that pen paper ready. It's coming up in the second half of this video. But now it's time for those IRS monthly stimulus checks. Well, here you go. What's important to understand is that recon that passed in that House subcommittee 2 weeks ago is not a bill. It ain't a bill. It's a package, and it's not a closed package either. That's what Nancy Pelosi and the president said as soon as it happened. That's what they said then, thereafter. Over the last 8 weeks, no less than 1,000 viewers have been told by this channel, have been told on this channel by senators and House members that they will be adding that provision in there for an IRS stimulus check monthly. Now let's go over some of the nuances of that. First, no bill yet. We don't have a bill for any of these clusters. We have a package. Number two, going to be adding it in there. So it's not like your Dora the Check Explorer. My new expression. Dora the Check Explorer. Yeah, I'm looking for that check provision. It's not in there. They've all said they're adding it in there. Will be adding it in there. Number three, there's two ways to add it in there. On the House side and on the Senate side. First, the House side. You can have AOC, Omar, Jalapal, Pelosi added into the package currently worked up in that House subcommittee. You can have the House members added in there. Or you can have the senators added in there. Where would the senators added in there? How would the senators added in there? They'd added in there during the vote-a-rama, the final 2 days, during the entire voting process. At the very end, the senators get the last 2 attempts, last 2 days to make attempts to modify the language. What can they do? Add stuff in. Who determines the scheduling of this vote-a-rama? Who determines what goes for a vote first and second? Chuck Schumer. Who is the guy that this week and last week told viewers this channel he's adding in a stimulus check provision? Chuck Schumer's office. Yeah, it's a biggie. It's a biggie. You want those senators in your corner. And guess what? As you saw it, as I led today, Bernie Sanders' office has now confirmed, reconfirmed, and continue to confirm that he has your back on this. He has been overwhelmed by your advocacy and has said that this channel, your advocacy, is what's getting things over the finish line. More about this later after the commercial break, but coming up is a little bit more about this IRS stimulus check. We'll be going over the dramatics of the debt ceiling limit now finished until December. Then we're back. We'll be going over the voting dates. Yeah, I know you love those dates. We all love dates, especially pitted dates. And then we'll be going to the big exciting details of third stimulus. We have so much coming up. I'll see you back as we continue on a big afternoon to LA. And stay with me. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. They're Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons at LA, direct from Santa Monica, with incredible great news about the debt ceiling limit, about Maxine Waters and rent, about the recon and modifications of the back end. We have a lot of breaking news. Boy, we do today. A lot of stuff, and then we'll go over what Bernie's office said. We got so much coming up. It is a big day across the board. We'll be going over what the president's doing on behind the scenes and what you need to know, and we'll also be cutting to third stimulus. It's a big afternoon, and it starts right now, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. We have a whole slate of programming coming up later today. Overnight's crypto, as Bitcoin's going to 50,000 but can't stay there, and other coins falling apart. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Then we turn to Evenings LA with the latest update today, always brand new show. Our hit new show, Evenings Countdown, which comes right after Evenings LA. It's at 6 p.m. And then we got 7 o'clock, Street Stimulus, Sirloin at 8, and then shows at 9, 10, and 11:30. So much exciting details, and could Sirloin be coming back? Who knows? Let's see. But with that, let's subscribe, like the video, and consider becoming a member. Let's go over all the dramatics that unfolded last night. Really surprising. As number one, we have so much breaking news to get up to speed with. Number one, the debt ceiling limit done. But just a short term. Yeah. Last night, Republicans and the Senate, the Republicans and Democrats in the Senate made a deal to extend the debt ceiling limit to December. The reaction to the event was mixed because, number one, Chuck Schumer delivered a speech which some people thought he really roasted of the Republicans, and people thought it was not a time and place to do it. So it looked like there was some pent-up frustration. I love that, because bring that to us with our stimulus checks. I love that. Number two, that we now have the House and Senate in recess, but that doesn't mean they're out of town, and that doesn't mean they're not working, because they're actually working on the recon in subcommittee, and that subcommittee means that they're actually meeting and working every day. Doesn't mean they're out of town. It doesn't just means they're not voting. But when would they be voting? New indication today, and again, this is their indication. This ain't me. This is not LA with a poster behind his wall that says October the 29th or 30th. But there's a new statement by Pelosi says she wants both bodies of legislation, recon and bipartisan, voted no later than the 29th. Wow. Okay, that's their current representation. Theirs, not mine. The House will return in session to pass the debt ceiling limit on Tuesday, October 12th, just for one day. It'll be a very quick vote, and that the senators are not coming back onto the floor of the Senate for a few more days. So both the House and Senate will not be on the floor next week, but they're certainly going to be in meetings to work on the recon. One of the issues of the recon is keeping stuff in there across the battleground. A very fascinating new statement from Lisa Rice, president and CEO of the National Fair Housing Association, talks about that the $300 billion of rent in forced stimulus. I did not know. See, I can't cover everything, can't catch everything. Among all those clusters, there also is $300 billion in there for additional rent assistance. Maxine Waters, who is chairwoman of the House Financial Services Committee, issued a stern warning last night. If you're a member of this channel, I sent out the message and the PDF that she wrote. She's advocating to keep it in there. It is in the recon. It is in the recon. That rent assistance, she's pushing to keep it in there. And what I want to go over is the quote from Rice that says, we have all these coalitions of industry groups and who are beating down the door of the White House to make sure that their provisions stay in the recon. Yeah. So I want you to know that's sort of the universe that's out there. So let's go to that recon and let's go over again what the representations are and what the sort of environment is. The representations are from AOC, Omar, Jalopal, Bernie, and Liz Warren, that all programs that are in the recon that passed at $3.5 trillion are staying in. That no program is being removed and no program is being reduced. Now, clearly, Maxine Waters still believes that there is always a threat to some item, and that item in her case was the rent, and so she wants to be extra cautious. But that's not what the progressives are saying. Progressives are saying we're not taking anything out. So how are the progressives proposing to make changes on the duration and the taxes? And they've done this before, and one of these is actually something I exclusively reported, and then it came true again. I told you the progressives would modify the recon with the duration because they did it before and they could do it again. And after I reported that, Jalopal confirmed they will do it. So what does duration mean? Let me show you something. Bernie went into negotiations for the recon to pass the recon procedural by asking for $7 trillion. Prior to this entire process starting, he had meetings with Senate Democrats, including those two Senate Democrats, moderates, and saying, I want $7 trillion. They said that's too much. He said, okay, I'll do $3.5 trillion, but I'll bring in the time in which the programs run less years. So instead of 20 years, I'll do it 10 years, for example. That's how he brought it from $7 trillion to $3.5 trillion. He still got the programs in there. He still got the programs paying 100%, just over a shorter time horizon. They said deal. They called it for a vote, recon procedural. It passed. Went to the House, went to the Senate, passed law. Then the subcommittee of the House started working on the recon substantive, called that for a vote 2 Saturdays ago, passed. So what could they modify to keep it much the same for you? Changing the time horizon. So, for example, let's look at one program. $4,000 to care for the elderly per year, a check per year. Well, I don't know exactly how many years the program's running, but let's just use 10 years as an example. They could switch it from 10 years to 8.5 years, or 10 years to 7 years. Suddenly, when you take off 30% of how much the program pays out by switching from 10 to 7 years, you took off 3 years off of the program, you make the program less costly. But you still pay the American citizen that same amount of money just over 7 years, not over 10 years. Jalopal, I had said this was a possibility, and Jalopal confirmed they're doing that. Now, she also said it makes sense because the programs are so beneficial, then prior Congresses will pass them, will extend them again. We commonly extend programs. You see on this channel for the last year, Congress loves to extend things that are existing. So that's the first way they can change things. They can also change things on the back end. And the back end is the corporate tax rate and the wealth tax rate. Those are two items that don't concern you. It's wealth, it's taxes on billionaires and taxes on big corporations. That's what they're using to pay, for example, the $4,000 to care for the elderly. So how would they modify it? Let's use the corporate tax rate, which was discussed in a new article today. It's very, very simple, this one, to understand. The president proposed, I can't remember, I think it's 28%. It's currently 22%, 23%. A lot of people like myself said it should be in the middle, like 25%, so did Joe Manchin. So if they reduce it by 3%, but still higher than where it is right now, the bill doesn't become as costly. So now, one of the notions is if you're raising less taxes, then what's another issue? Well, there's a new article out today that says some progressives may not want to do it because some of the reason why they're raising these taxes is that they think that corporations and billionaires are not paying their fair share of taxes. Whether or not that money is going right back into a program like caring for the elderly, they still think those tax raises should go in there. Very, very fascinating discussion heating up currently right now among those subcommittees. I think it's going to go in there. I think it's going to go in there, but it doesn't have to be as robust. And if you've been on this channel over the last few months, I've talked to several times that no one really thought that 28% was going to be the number for corporates. So this is how they modify stuff and still get your money. All right, now let's turn to the big money then for the other items. And those other items, of course, are those IRS stimulus monthly checks. It's important to understand the sort of dynamic of the situation right now and everything involved at the issue. Number one, I do not want you to be dependent upon the arrival date of a stimulus check. Number two, I want you to understand that this recon involves a lot of checks for a lot of things that you can get money for this fourth stimulus recon. And I want you to get all these sums of money in this recon. Number three, there's a lot of money available right now in the third stimulus, which I'm going to show you how to get that money right now. So I don't want you to be dependent upon the voting time or the voting date of this fourth stimulus recon. If you Think you're not eligible for money? Think again, because I'm going to show you the nonprofits that help for all those things. The incredible details about this IRS stimulus check is that the Democratic leadership is guided really by Bernie Sanders on this one. And now you see the message. Let's go back over that message again. This is a message which overrules. It negates any type of negativity you may have heard or seen anywhere else. This is a message not from a secretary. This is not a message from a staffer. This is from a message from a top aide to a viewer to this channel. This is about as high as you can go in the offices of the senators. Congressional office in D.C. Sanders and Representative Jackson said that they have, through yesterday, received nearly 1 million contacts from the people of LA and Purple Power. The advocacy is making waves, meaning it's making people are talking about this in the congressional offices of the Senate. This is the first time many officials and their staff have truly heard from the people. And now they not only have heavy hearts, but have a renewed sense of urgency to help people out so they get up and do the good work. Our advocacy has been so strong and so heartfelt and so polite that they never and never just for ourselves, but also for the community. And this is how it should be. It is 8 weeks ago I said, pick up the phone and advocate, and WR did. He picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's oldest confidant, and advocate for a stimulus check. And Senator Chris Coons' staff said, yes, it's going in there, monthly stimulus check. It was 3 weeks ago that you saw this channel sort of quickly picking up. A lot of breaking news, a lot of exclusives by the hour. For example, I told you that the House would write the legislation in the subcommittee. They did. I told you the subcommittee would vote on the legislation first. They did, with Sheila Jackson, your progressive number 2 person. I told you that it was very important, Bernie, in this equation, because he's the budget chairman of the Senate. He's the guy who got you the $3.5 trillion price tag. And at that time, 3 weeks ago, Bernie said to the press, unlike prior budget chairmen, I like to get out amongst the people when doing a recon. I said, if you hear those words, it means he wants to hear from you. I said, pick up the phone and advocate. And 3 viewers did. Lynn Glenn, Margaret, and Brother Joshua. Brother Joshua is a 2020 volunteer to the community page, a longtime viewer of this channel, and he picked up the phone and advocated. And what does advocacy look like? If you're new to this channel, let's go over what advocacy is and what advocacy isn't. Advocacy involves telling your unique story. It involves telling why you need something. It all has sentences that have periods at the end, no question marks. And it involves telling your unique situation, whether it's financial, whether it is business related, or whether it is medical related. I need this money because this is what's going on with my family. This is what's going on in my town. This is what's going on in my community. Understand, these are aides that are in D.C. They're not in your town. They don't perhaps know your town. They perhaps don't know your county or your state. And they don't know your situation until you tell them. And that is why advocacy of this channel has been so overwhelming to these congressional staffers. Because 1, you represent Republicans. 2, you represent Democrats. 3, you represent viewers in red states like Texas and Florida. Number 4, you represent viewers in blue states like California and New York. Your message is very much the same, but you have shown a coming together for advocacy. That is advocacy. Now, let me show you what is not advocacy. Dora the Check Explorer is not advocacy. Am I getting a stimulus check? Can you tell me, am I getting one? Did they put it in the bill? Is it in the bill? When is it coming out? What month? What date? How much? Who? Where? Is it blue? Is it green? Is it purple? No, that's not advocacy. That's just calling up and asking for money. That's not what advocacy is about. They, first of all, don't have a bill. They have a package. Number 2, they've all said they're adding it in there. Number 3, it is not your place or time to ask for things to be added, to ask whether something has already happened. It's future tense, and it's for your place. Instead, it's your place to advocate for the inclusion. Remember, legislators can have something in there, take it out. Put it in there, take it out. Not promise they're going to put it in there and not put it in there. And that's what advocacy involves. And that's what Brother Joshua did 3 weeks ago when he picked up the phone and advocated for himself, his family, and his community, and his church. And Sanders' office said, yes, it's going in there. $1,000 to $1,300, 3 to 6 months. But Sanders' office said, I need to hear from you. I need to know that you support this. Well, now we know the full extent of that message. Not only so that Sanders could know it, but that he can share it with other congressional staffs. At that time and in the days that follow, I said, if you pick up the phone and call Liz Warren, Chuck Schumer, Sheila Jackson, Omar, Jalapal, House and Senate, and you flood their messages with your advocacy, they're going to talk about it and say, have you gotten those LA phone calls? I have. That's what they have now said. You're so professional, you're so respectful, you're so in-depth, you're so informed, you are so polite, and you are so strong in your advocacy. We got to get this done. And that's what you've done. Let's go over all the incredible messages. We're going to go over screen grabs. We're going to go over messages posted to this channel. No less than 1,000 viewers of this channel have sent me messages, and understand in a very, very complex broadcast channel that has a lot of images and things on the channel, I can't possibly show you a screen grab of every message every day of every viewer. So if you do not see a message every 3 hours, don't think that something has changed. It's just my fingers are tired. I love that. So let's go over what Donnie wrote shortly after brother Joshua made the phone call. Here's what Donnie wrote. Donnie wrote, I spoke to Bernie Sanders' secretary. I said, I need it. My family needs it. My city needs it. I need it for my water and everything. Sanders' office said, it's going in there. Here is what Hurricane Tina wrote. She wrote that I need it, and that Sanders' office said it's going in there. Carolyn Smith wrote, people are losing their homes, what they got. Sanders' office said it's going in there. Yaya wrote, she advocated to Ron Wyden, and they said it's going in there. By that point, we saw the importance of picking up the phone and calling 3 offices. This is not Dora the Check Explorer. You're not calling up one office to get validation of a story. You're calling up every person you can, so you spread the grassroots efforts, and that's what Will did. Bernie, Chuck, and Liz called up. Excuse me. Will called up Bernie, Chuck, and Liz, and all 3 secretaries confirmed it's going in there. I explained my situation, he writes, Will, and why a check would help. And I was told Liz once said $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Lorica got Bob Casey's office on the phone, and Bob Casey's office confirmed it's going in there. And by that point, the same message was coming on in. From Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, Wyden. All senators that they will add it. Will. Future tense. Known as future tense. Again, 2 opportunities to add it as a senator during the vote-a-rama at the end, or having the House members do it for them. Who are the House members? AOC, Jalapal, Omar, and Sheila Jackson. I said pick up the phone and call over to them as well. And Sheila Jackson is one of the new names. So if you've been advocating with a lot of calls but haven't called Sheila Jackson, please call her as well. And that's what Janice did. Bless her heart, Janice. She's just wonderful. She calls so many people. And she's called Omar and got the same message through and confirmation. And she called Jalapal, and Jalapal said it's going in there as well. Mark got at Pelosi's office on the phone, and Pelosi's office confirmed after Mark advocated it's going in there $1,000 after the first month, $2,000, 6 to 12 months. And the reoccurring message that viewers were told is that it's going in there. Now, let's turn back to what goes on next. What goes on next is that we're going to really see a lot of battleground going on in the background for the recon, for modifying the recon. And you know what? Common message I used to say a few months ago is if they're modifying a package, it's good for us, because if it looks like it's etched in stone, it's not good for us. They're obviously modifying the recon, what they passed. On the back end, they're modifying, adding stuff in it, taking stuff threatening to take vaccine water stuff out. But this is good for us because they say they're adding it in there. Now let's turn to third stimulus. Now, I want to make something very, very clear. This is October. And if you need money today, let's get some money. That's all I had to say. Let's get some money. It's called financial independence. It's not called what date is my stimulus check coming. We never did this on this channel. And since 2020 to right now, I said, don't want you to be financially dependent on the arrival of anything from the federal government. I want you to get money that's available right now, because money is money. You don't care if the money is, well, you do care if it's a $20 bill versus a $5 bill or a $100 bill, but you don't care what the money is for, so long as you get it. So get that pen, paper, cell phone ready. We are getting money today. Are you ready? I'm excited. We're going to get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, some appliances. Yeah, appliances. maybe some clothing, some food, some and some other items. And let's start with it right now. We're going to start with the rent, and the rent numbers are huge. Viewers are now getting upwards of $40,000 of rent from this channel. I'm going to show you 6 places you reach out to. You reach out to all 6 places. Eligibility is different at each place. So if one says no, reach out to the next. Number 2, I want you to listen to the keywords I say in this video. And number 3, get ready for the nonprofits. First, we're going to get some rent. Here you go. You reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, and your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Now, if you're a member of this channel, which I hope you are, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Calcino VIP, the membership link is under the video. You daily are delivered the newsletter from me that has in there that statement from Treasury. I want you to read that Treasury statement like the one viewer out of Austin did. She learned it. I said, read the Treasury statement before you call so you know what it is. So when you call up and say, have you gotten the money? That's what she did. She specifically followed my advice, and boy, did it pay off, because they have your money. They have your money. Don't let them play games that they don't have your money. She said, when you mentioned about the extra $13 billion is going on, I automatically pounced. Purple Hawk, really great job. And she got the money into 2022. Number 2, I want you to lean on the nonprofits. Okay, so first, remember that the nonprofits pay for everything that's in the third stimulus. So if you've had an eligibility problem for anything, lean on the nonprofits. They have different eligibility than the federal government. Here are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. They're also featured in the newsletter. The important thing to remember about the nonprofits, which I'll go over again in a second, is that they also pay for other items that are never in the third stimulus. They'll help homeless people get into shelters. They'll help you get clothing. They'll help you with small appliances. Viewers have gotten refrigerators, furnaces, and windows fixed in the last week on this channel. They'll also help you with other items that you may not think they help you with, like mortgage assistance. They do really wonderful things. All you have to do is ask. Those are, again, United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. It's October, but you need to be thinking about Christmas right now. They also help with Christmas gifts, but in October, they include Salvation Army. Reach out to them right now. Next, utilities. I want you to reach out to all utility companies. I love Margaret. She's gotten several items for this channel, and she heard my message. If you got 5 utilities, reach out to 5. She got more money from me another utility company yesterday. Yes, do that. Next, I want you to get this money back from unemployment benefits. 2 types of unemployment benefits. But first, let me go over SNAP. If you have not gotten SNAP, you need to get SNAP. It's been one of the big success stories of this channel. I have no idea how much money I've gotten people for SNAP. It may be close to $500,000. It's just enormous sums. No, what am I saying? Several millions of dollars. I mean, I'm getting viewers $25,000 a year, many viewers. So it's just enormous sums of money. For SNAP, you get from Department of Agriculture. Eligibility is easy than a stimulus check. It pays a lot of money. I have countless viewers getting $21,000 a year to $26,000 a year. How much is it going up? It's going up an average of 25% lifetime automatically starting in October. So go get that money for SNAP. Lynn, Glenn, and Gail got it. If you got this money for SNAP, post in the live chat. You know, I've been in some of the live chats lately. No harm, no foul, but please post your success stories. You're not posting your success stories, because when you do, you inspire other people to get this sums of money. Please do. Lastly, the refund check from unemployment. Yes, first from the state, due to overpayment of unemployment benefits, it's coming. And a computer error, yeah, it's coming. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. And then the refund check from federal government for the taxes you paid on that 2020 unemployment benefits, it's coming back. Average payment is anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The link is under the video. Become a member today. So you get the newsletter that's sent out daily by me to you on the on this channel. It's sent out about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which by itself is totally free. If you haven't signed up for that LALATE alert system, also it's in the description, totally free. In the newsletter, Monday through Friday, it features the big money available under first, second, and third stimulus, so that you can get $80,000 like Johnny. So you can get $100,000 like to Johnny's two family members, like you can get $100,000 as to Mark's two friends, and Mark got $51,000. As Lorraine got $110,000, you can try to get as much money as you can because financial independence starts here. Finally, a personal message. It's important to remember, I want you to make 3 promises to yourself. 1, I want you to get as much money as you can right today, this weekend, next week, for as many items as you can. If you got 1 item, don't sit back and just celebrate. Go get another item. If you're an Nisi or Art Sullivan who's gotten 2 or 3 items, get some more items and get the items into 2022. You see the Maxine Waters statement. I didn't know that forced stimulus was going to have some money and rent in there because I didn't think it was very popular among congressional leaders. Well, Maxine Waters feels the pressure, see things that may come out. So get items when they're available right now, and that's third stimulus. Get them as far into 2022 as possible. Number 2, get the money from the nonprofits that is available for you as much as you can get. Don't sit around, don't wait. The turnaround time for all these big sums of money is great now. We've been doing this in a while for this channel. I've been helping a lot of people get a lot of money over the last few years. $25 million of EIDL, $250,000 for rent last winter. I have no idea how much money we've gotten this year alone. But one thing I do know is that when Congress is not passing a law that week, people sort of realize, wait a second, I need money. That law did not pass this week. That law is not being passed next week. But I can get you money this week. I can get you money next week. It was just like I showed you about a month ago when Johnny started the week at 0, ended the week at 80,000. This channel is about getting you money. We don't really care what the money is. If you can get the money, you get the money. And if you have a success story, send it to me on private message. I'll feature it tomorrow on air, whether it's rent, utilities, or food, or internet. Finally, lean on those nonprofits. Whatever you need, get as much money as you can because their quick turnaround time right now is working, especially St. Vincent de Paul getting big praises and United Way getting big praises from viewers of the channel. As we go into those winter months, because it's getting cold outside, we go to late October, early November, they're not going to be as quick to turn around that type of response time. And with that, so much coming up. Tonight, we have a new Evenings LALATE. It's going to be a big show with breaking news of what's happening in the middle of the day. The news cycle is turning very quickly once again now that they got that debt ceiling limit done till December. Fascinating details. We're going to see how the battleground unfolds as the progressives promise that everything in that recon pass is staying in there, and as the advocacy is now showing that things that are in there need to be added to with those IRS stimulus checks. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers YouTube record. I want your brother's incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000 to 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Keep it positive, keep it informed, keep it moving, and keep it smiling. And stay with LA for more.